As a maker, I love to burn some incense every so often to help me focus or set the correct mood. However, I've always had a love-hate relationship with it, because while I love the ritualistic aspect, the incense holders I've had never seemed to do the one job they were made for, whether they were store-bought or one of the many 3D printed designs available freely. So what am I complaining about? Well, when you search 3D printed incense holders, it only gives me two basic types. There's the long boy and the tiny dish. My issue is that with a small displacement of the incense stick or a slight cross breeze, both of these designs get ash absolutely everywhere. I'm probably exaggerating a little, but it's certainly frustrating to have an item specifically for a task that it fails to do. Traditionally manufactured designs do have a bit more variation, and a search for an incense tower provided me a glimmer of hope. But in the end, I didn't want to buy yet another maybe. So instead, I decided to use this mild inconvenience to fuel myself to design something better. Going into this, I had a good idea of the basic requirements for the design. It needed to capture all of the ash, have adequate airflow, look good and blend into a room, and not need to be emptied every single use. On top of that, it would be nice if it printed quickly, but I was willing to compromise on that. Remember, if any ash escapes us at the end of the day, I'll have failed my design objective. Let's jump into CAD really quickly, and I'll show you how I set up my design. So first I made this bottom section, and then I copied it up and rotated it. Then I took that whole piece and copied it up a bunch. That way I can just change this bottom section and it will auto-update the design. So obviously a solid tube won't work, but neither will basic circular holes, because as soon as you drop this in the slicer, vase mode has a connection. Also, I don't like this design in general. I'm going to go back to the basic solid tube for now, and print this in vase mode, just as a test. As I predicted, it's pretty flimsy, so I'm going to use multi-wall vase mode to make it much stronger. You can find out more about that in my previous video. So other than a concrete idea for the holes, I had a good idea of how I was going to go about this. Now let's see what I came up with. You can see here, I'm using bridging in a very specific shape to create a vase mode part with holes. The shape also adds a decent amount of strength, and with the double walls and a complete assembly, it's quite tough. Now, if you want to make your own, first, print the lid. I just use the default printer slicer settings, but I've personally gone as low as 5% infill and my printer's largest line height. Then print the base, and this will be with vase mode, and it will automatically have two walls. And then you can print the body in vase mode, same as the base. But I think by this point, I must owe you at least one time lapse. So enjoy. And there you go. As an optional extra, there's a two-part wall mount that just friction fits together and uses VHB tape to stick to the wall. This way you can get it up and out of the way. Apart from that, the incense holder comes in two variants with 3 sizes each. So that's the large, medium and small size with thick or thin sections. The smaller size is not recommended if you're printing in PLA, because I've added melt on me when the incense stick isn't perfectly straight, and the larger size is probably a bit big for some people. I personally go for the medium size with thick sections. You can find all the download links in the description and original files on my Patreon. An important warning, do not have more than one incense stick in the holder at once, no matter what size. This will burn it, as 3D printing plastics often cannot take these temperatures. And conversely, I know some people may have concerns that PLA won't hold up, but I've been using size medium and up, and personally, it's held up for months of consistent use. I'll make sure to make an update if this changes though. Anyways, let me know if you print any of these models and how your experience went. Most importantly, please remember to use with care, as fire still burns, and there's nothing I can do to design around that. Also, don't forget to follow and subscribe for future content. Have a great day, and see you in the next one.